World War II left Europe in ruins. Cities lay in rubble, millions were dead, economies were shattered. Hunger and poverty were widespread. The war had destroyed factories, farms, and transportation systems. People were struggling to survive. The winter of 1946 to 1947 was particularly harsh. It brought more suffering to a continent already on its knees. The situation was dire, demanding urgent action. The war's end brought little solace to millions. The euphoria of victory was quickly replaced by the grim reality of rebuilding. The task seemed insurmountable. Europe needed a lifeline, a beacon of hope to guide it out of the darkness. This dire need for aid set the stage for an unprecedented act of generosity and foresight, the Marshall Plan. As Europe struggled to rebuild from the devastation of World War II, a new and ominous threat began to emerge on the horizon: communism. The Soviet Union, under the iron-fisted leadership of Joseph Stalin, had emerged from the war not just as a survivor, but as a formidable global power. With its military might and political influence, it began to exert increasing control over the war-torn nations of Eastern Europe. Stalin's ambitions were unmistakably clear. He aimed to spread communist ideology far and wide, seeking to expand Soviet control westward into the heart of Europe. This aggressive expansionism sent shockwaves through the United States and its allies. The US, along with its Western allies, perceived communism as a direct and existential threat to their democratic values and way of life. Thus, the Cold War began, a prolonged geopolitical rivalry that would shape the latter half of the 20th century and influence global politics for decades. Recognizing the gravity of the situation, the US understood the necessity for a proactive strategy to contain Soviet influence and prevent the spread of communism. The Marshall Plan, with its comprehensive focus on economic recovery and rebuilding, provided the perfect vehicle for achieving these ambitious goals, ensuring stability and prosperity in Europe. The Marshall Plan, officially known as the European Recovery Programme, was a US initiative to aid Europe after the devastating effects of World War II. The continent was in ruins, with cities reduced to rubble and economies in shambles. It was announced by US Secretary of State George C. Marshall in a landmark speech at Harvard University in June 1947. This speech marked a pivotal moment in international relations and set the stage for a new era of cooperation. The plan was a radical departure from traditional foreign policy, emphasizing economic assistance as a tool for achieving geopolitical objectives. It was a bold move that redefined how nations could support each other in times of need. Marshall, a respected military leader during World War II, understood that economic stability was crucial for political stability. His military experience gave him unique insights into the importance of rebuilding nations. He argued that a prosperous Europe would be less susceptible to communist influence, which was a growing concern during the early stages of the Cold War. The plan, therefore, aimed to rebuild war-torn economies, remove trade barriers, and modernize industries in Western Europe. It was not just about providing financial aid, but also about fostering long-term economic growth and stability. This ambitious plan was a testament to the US's commitment to a free and democratic Europe. It laid the foundation for the economic revival of the continent and strengthened transatlantic ties that continue to this day. George C. Marshall was the driving force behind the Marshall Plan. As US Secretary of State, he played a pivotal role in shaping the plan and securing its approval. A decorated military leader, Marshall brought his strategic acumen and unwavering determination to the task of rebuilding Europe. Marshall understood that a prosperous Europe was not only in the interest of the United States, but also essential for global peace and stability. His vision extended beyond simple economic aid. He envisioned a Europe that was economically integrated, politically united, and resistant to Soviet pressure. His leadership and unwavering belief in the plan's objectives were instrumental in its success. To Section 5, Rebuilding Europe, the plan's ambitious goals. The Marshall Plan had several key objectives. The primary goal was to revive war-torn economies in Western Europe. This involved providing financial aid to rebuild infrastructure, restart industries, and increase agricultural production. The plan also aimed to promote trade between European nations, fostering economic integration and cooperation. Another crucial objective was to prevent the spread of communism. By fostering economic prosperity in Western Europe, the US hoped to create a bulwark against Soviet influence. The plan also aimed to strengthen democratic institutions and promote political stability in the region. The Marshall Plan's goals were ambitious, but they reflected the scale of the challenge and the US's determination to meet it head-on. Section $6 across the Atlantic, the mechanics of aid. The Marshall Plan was a massive undertaking involving the transfer of billions of dollars in aid from the United States to Europe. The aid came in various forms, including grants, loans, and technical assistance. The US provided raw materials, machinery, food, and other essential goods to help European nations rebuild their economies. The distribution of aid was carefully managed. Recipient countries were required to develop their own recovery plans and demonstrate their commitment to economic reform. The US also established missions in European capitals to oversee the implementation of the plan and ensure that the aid was used effectively. Section 7, from devastation to prosperity, Europe's remarkable recovery. The Marshall Plan had a profound impact on Europe. The infusion of US aid provided a much-needed boost to war-torn economies. Industrial production soared, agricultural output increased, and trade resumed. Within a few years, Europe had not only recovered from the war, but was experiencing an unprecedented economic boom. The plan also fostered greater economic cooperation between European nations. This laid the groundwork for the European Economic Community, EEC, a precursor to the European Union. The Marshall Plan's success in reviving Europe's economies was a testament to the power of international cooperation and the effectiveness of well-targeted aid. Section 8, a bulwark against communism containing Soviet influence. The Marshall Plan was also a resounding success in containing the spread of communism in Western Europe. The economic recovery fueled by the plan made Western European nations less susceptible to communist propaganda and Soviet pressure. The plan also strengthened ties between the US and Western Europe, creating a united front against Soviet expansionism. The Soviet Union, recognizing the threat posed by the Marshall Plan, refused to participate. They also prevented their satellite states in Eastern Europe from accepting aid. The plan thus highlighted the ideological divide between East and West, solidifying the lines of the Cold War. Section 9, a transatlantic success story strengthening US-European ties. The Marshall Plan had a lasting impact on US-European relations. The plan fostered a spirit of partnership and cooperation between the two continents. It created a sense of shared purpose and solidified the transatlantic alliance. The US, through the Marshall Plan, demonstrated its commitment to European security and prosperity. This strengthened relationship extended beyond the realm of economics and politics. It fostered cultural exchange and people-to-people ties that continue to this day. The Marshall Plan laid the foundation for a lasting partnership that has shaped the post-war world order. Section 10, the legacy of the Marshall Plan, a turning point in history. The Marshall Plan was a watershed moment in history, a beacon of hope in a time of despair. It marked a turning point in international relations, demonstrating the power of economic assistance as a tool of foreign policy, and showcasing the potential for nations to rebuild and thrive through cooperation. The plan's success in reviving Europe's economies and containing the spread of communism solidified its legacy as one of the most successful foreign policy initiatives of the 20th century. It not only rebuilt infrastructure, but also restored hope and stability to a war-torn continent. The plan's legacy continues to inspire today, reminding us of the enduring impact of strategic aid and international solidarity. It serves as a reminder of the importance of international cooperation, the need for strategic foresight, and the transformative power of well-directed aid. The principles of the Marshall Plan continue to guide modern efforts in global development and diplomacy. The Marshall Plan's principles of economic recovery, political stability, and collective security remain as relevant today as they were in the aftermath of World War II, offering a blueprint for addressing contemporary global challenges. Section 11. Conclusion. A testament to international cooperation. The Marshall Plan was a bold and visionary response to the challenges facing Europe after World War II. It was a testament to the power of international cooperation, the importance of strategic foresight, and the transformative potential of economic assistance. The plan's success in reviving war-torn economies, containing the spread of communism and strengthening transatlantic ties, cemented its place as one of the most successful foreign policy initiatives in history. The Marshall Plan stands as a beacon of hope and a reminder that even in the darkest of times, humanity can overcome adversity through collective action and a commitment to a shared future.